Without a vision, the people perish. Welcome to Vision Plus, a program featuring a positive outlook, dealing with everyday situations of marriage, children, and business. Believing Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Teacher, author, speaker, delighting audiences from New York to Sacramento with a heart and message for the people today. Bonnie would like to remind you of the 800 number on the screen. Please feel free to call at any time throughout the broadcast and share your concerns. Leave your prayer request and someone will pray with you. And now, teacher, author, and speaker, Bonnie.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Liphart, along with Michael Scott, and one of the most delightful things about him that when I read his bio and all the information from, he's one of the new anchors at Channel 31 Way TV in Huntsville, Alabama, and we were discussing about Up With People and his influence, and he was at the Munich World's
Olympics.
Almost said World's.
Yeah, I know. I do that every once in a while too. Hey, first of all, Dr. Bonnie, it's great to be on your show. I appreciate you asking me. I came out of the blue. I found a little note pressed up on my computer saying, "You got to call Dr. Bonnie Liphart. Okay, she wants you on her show." And I'm going, "Is that a show?" And they went, "Yeah, people get on her show. If you're in town, you want to get on Dr. Bonnie's show. Okay." Well, yeah, glad to be here.
Yes.
You mentioned the Up With People thing. That was something that happened 35 years ago in my life, and I have no regrets ever being part of it. Important things I ever did in my life. 18 years old, and I'm traveling with this group, an musical educational group that traveled around the world with students from around the world, and we wind up at the Munich Olympics. And for those who are too young to remember, that was the Olympics where we first learned about things like Palestinians and terrorism, because Palestinian terrorists grabbed Israeli hostages, 11 of them. And through a 24-hour plus standoff, it ended with all the hostages killed. ABC's Jim McKay and Peter Jennings, fielded that whole report for that whole period of time. And we all remember those words. You probably do, because you were here in the States when Jim McKay turned to the camera and he said, "They're gone. They're all dead. It's over." And see, being back then in '72, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have text messaging, we didn't have faxes, so we're there at the Olympics, we're on the Olympic grounds while this is happening. We don't know what's going on. Our parents are here, and they know more than about what's going on because they're at least watching the TV coverage. We had no clue what was happening. We just knew that there were police all over the place, armed people armed with automatic weapons, and it was a complete clampdown on the town of Munich. We had kids in our cast who were Jewish. The morning after the hostages were killed, we had a cast meeting because we were supposed to have a show that night. And we're going, what is happening now? Are all Jews being targeted? Do we put on our show, which is a positive message of love and understanding, or do we cower and let the terrorists win? Well, here's a group of kids from 18 to 19 years old. They take a vote amongst themselves, and we go, let's do the show. We do that show. Jesse Owens, the great Olympic hero, is on our board of advisors. He is also on the U.S. Olympic Committee. He's at the show, and he grabs the founder of our organization and drags him to the main Olympic people and says, "I know that all cultural events have been shut down on the Olympic grounds, but Up With People needs to perform for these athletes." So after the memorial, and I took a camera back with me to this reunion I went to in August of my cast of 35 years, and I interviewed my cast members, and we all started to reshare our memories, and we were talking about the fear of being, when that curtain came up, and here we are again, young people in front of all these young athletes who are looking at us like a deer in the headlights. They are still stunned by what has happened, just like the rest of the world, and we're going, oh my God, will the message get across? Can we emotionally handle it to try to even get this message across? About 15 minutes into the show, we do a thing, sort of a cultural wraparound. where we get a conga line going, and we came dancing through the audience, and the coach from Cuba got up and grabbed the back of the conga line, and he challenged the coaches from other countries to get up. And they got their team members. No one wanted to be outdone. So they're on this conga line, and when the conga line ends, we're all standing, and we lock arms, and we begin singing this old Belgian beer drinking song. And the whole theater, small little theater, is swaying back and forth. People are locked in arms. Security guys who are standing there with automatic weapons rest their weapons down, and they lock arms. We're crying. We're laughing, and it's a complete emotional catharsis for everybody involved. Security, athletes, cast members. It went so well that the Olympic Committee said, you got to come back the next night and do it for the rest of the athletes who didn't get there. And a few weeks later, one of the German papers in Frankfurt said, Upward People saved the spirit of the Olympics. And it was just a fantastic moment. And it's so funny because at 18, you don't realize what you're involved in, how big it is. And it's only since I told my cast members that I was going to be coming with a camera to interview them that I said, I want you to think about it. And everyone has become an emotional wreck because they're like, we're like that HBO series Band of Brothers, where you have the guys who go through boot camp in World War II, training, D-Day, march across Europe, take down Hitler in Berlin. They have that bond. They have D-Day. One of the most horrific times ever, our cast had Munich. So any other Up With People cast that came after that, we go, yeah, that's great, but you never had Munich. We had Munich, yeah.
My brother and his wife were there when that was going on.
Oh.
And it was so emotional for even us, wondering if they're going to be okay. And so it was so great to think about what you guys did, Black September. And the group dissipated. We think they dissipated, except last when 911 came. I call it 911 because that's what we call for help.
Yes.
911. And I think September's coming up. This will be run again in September, maybe in 2 years in September. But that we wonder what could happen. But you're not a one to give up. I love the part about not only the Up With People, but here's a man 18 that later is running in Omaha for the 2nd congressional seat. And I have to tell you one story about a congressman from Texas. It was also a congressman from New Mexico, Ed Foreman, and he said he was no longer a congressman because of illness and fatigue. They were sick and tired of him. And so, no, that's a joke.
No, yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, illness.
Now, you ran for Congress in Omaha for the 2nd
Congressional district, yes.
And I mean, that's got to be from Up With People to your dad saying, you're supposed to be an educator like me.
Well, you know, today you and I are taping this, and a former cast member of mine is right now in Montgomery running for the city council seat. Today's election day, so I've already gotten 2 phone calls from other cast members going, so are you going to put her story on the news? And I said, no, they're in Montgomery. We're up here in Huntsville. No, but I'll call her and wish her best. But no, and when we were at the reunion, we were talking amongst ourselves of some of the others who have run for office. You know, and also as we looked at the bios of everybody who was in Up With People, we're going, a lot of us went on to become involved in things like social work, psychiatry, things dealing with people.
But you also got involved in incredibly famous things like the Simpson Goldman murders, and you covered that for, can I say CBS?
Oh, yes, you can say KCBS.
Okay.
I wound up...
Did he do it? If I had done it.
Come on, let's go. You know what? Hey, I'm not going to stand here like an idiot. If he didn't do it, someone please tell me who did, okay? It's so funny because 2 nights ago I just watched that movie American Tragedy, which deals with the behind-the-scenes going-ons of his legal team. Yeah, it was very interesting to see that. What you were talking about, though, yes, being at the Simpson Goldman, I had been working the week before the murders for Entertainment Tonight.
Yes.
That Friday was my last day with him. The Sunday was the day of the murders. Monday, I get up, I'm watching a cable channel, so I don't know about the murders. I I go to the bank, and my banker, a black woman, walks up to me and says, well, I guess you won't be able to get me any pictures of O.J. Simpson anymore. And I thought she meant because I don't work for Entertainment Tonight. I said, oh, I can still get you pictures of O.J. I have no idea what she's talking about. I go to the post office, long line, and I'm standing on line, and I'm wearing sweat clothes, okay? And there's a little old white gentleman standing behind me, and he keeps stepping out of the line and looking at me, and then he steps out the other way, and he looks at me. And finally, I turn around and go, may I help you? And he goes, you're not him, are you? And I go, not who? And he goes, O.J. And I said, no, I'm not O.J. And back then, when I was slimmer and O.J. was slimmer, we did kind of look alike. So at this point now, everybody in the post office is looking at me, and I'm going, no, I'm not O.J. And he goes, oh, please don't take that bad because, he's a good-looking guy. I said, no, I don't take it bad. I've heard it before that I look a little bit like him. Still hasn't clued in what's going on. Something tells me to swing by my new job just to check and see where my desk is going to be. I walk in, and everybody's running around like a crazy person. In the car, I'm listening to tapes, so I don't even know anything that's going on in the world. I look up at the assignment board, and everything's in black letters except at the very top, O.J. in red letters. And I go to my boss, did something happen to O.J.? And he goes, yeah, he shot his wife. Again, this was early in the story. We didn't know she was stabbed. She shot his wife. So that's what happened. Wednesday morning, I come in for my first full day of work, and the first thing they do is they send me out to the mansion. Mm-hmm. So back then, the mansion is so inundated with reporters and sightseers that they've cordoned off the whole neighborhood, so they have to drop me off, and I have to walk to the mansion. About a block and a half away, there are several hundred media types in front of the mansion, and all of a sudden, the cameras come up, and they aim at me. And I look behind and going, well, what the heck's going on? I get a little closer, the cameras come down. I find my crew, and I said, so has anybody seen O.J. yet? And he goes, no, we didn't, but we thought you were O.J. coming up the street. So, yeah, O.J. and I have an interesting bond, yeah.
But we're going to leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
And you're not in the movie either. So.
No, I'm not in the movie either. Not in the movie.
You have had such an incredible life, and your dad, you talked to him this week, and now what did he still wants you to be an educator. These parents don't give up. Now, you just have a menagerie of pets, you and Sandy, so you don't know this yet, but the father thinks the son is supposed to follow.
Yeah, you know what? My father is an immigrant to this country. Actually, both my parents were born in Jamaica. I was born in New York City, and my father always believes, as an immigrant, that the child should do better than the parent.
Of course.
And that's true.
You've done that.
Well, I once said to him, he's always fussing because I never actually got my college degree. I've run for Congress. I've been a broadcaster for now 30 years. I taught at a local college in Omaha for 3.5 years. And, as I always say to him, how am I going to go sit in a class and have someone to tell me how to do this job, okay? He goes, well, you just need to have your degree, because that's the immigrant in him talking. I even said to him 10 years ago, I make more money than you and my stepmother combined. I think I'm doing okay, But in his head, that isn't, and this is what came up again last week, and I'm going,
have to give you an honorary.
Is there a university out there that could just slip me something on the table? And I'll be your guest speaker for at least 10 years. If you just give me something, give me the piece of paper. Make an old man happy.
Yes, show it to your dad.
Yes, yeah.
Fax it to him quickly and send him FedEx immediately.
Can I change subjects on you completely?
Well, you may.
You know who you look like? And it's always scary to tell a woman she looks like another woman, okay? This is an attractive woman. The TV show CSI, you look like Mark Helgenberg. Okay.
Better than I love
and
Lucy. That's always what I've heard.
Oh, I know the redhead, but Mark is a redhead too. She's a strawberry blonde. And I've met Mark because she's from Nebraska. In fact, her mother tried to set me up with her before she got married. But no, you remind me of her. When I first saw you, I said, that could be Mark Helgenberg.
That's right. Thank you. Now, we're not going to get away with your not telling us, I know, about the leaping lizard. And you've got to tell that story from your perspective. He and I are alike. If a snake jumps on me, I don't care if it is a rat pink snake. I'm out of here.
You know what? As I've told people, and I got pictures of it. I've got pictures of tarantulas being placed on my head. I've got pictures of giant boa constrictors wrapped around me with me holding them. I don't have a problem with reptiles when I have control of the reptile.
Okay.
But that day when this happened, this happened 5 years ago, and people are still talking about it.
It went worldwide.
Yeah, and we just had ABC do a national piece on it. I'm holding a 5-foot rat snake, which does bite, and I've got it stretched out, and I lose track of the gecko that's on the table. Look at it, your photographer's just over there grinning like a little Cheshire cat. And I lose track of the lizard. The lizard actually jumped at the tail.
But it looked like a snake when it jumped on you.
My wife,
In the close-up.
my wife thought I was electrocuted because when the darn thing jumped, it missed the tail, landed on me, and I went. She's watching it at home live, going, "Is he being electrocuted?" And of course,
you were saying some words. The G word.
oh no, it was worse than the G word. It was the F word. I said, "What the F?"
Yeah,
And
you also said, and the G
yeah,
word.
well, I think I said, "Gosh darn, gosh darn, gosh darn."
We'll let you get by.
Because then I'm trying to go, oh my gosh, I'm on live television. What am I doing here? Because I eventually
You know,
fall backwards.
Better than Mr. Nixon over here, the guy didn't follow you as much as I think he should have. The cameraman missed. I mean, he could
No.
$100,000.
I'm glad the camera person followed as much as she did. She's a friend of mine. She and I still talk. But, it was so funny because
She later came and saw
the
that to you.
the director's cut, where you hear the director talking to the crew and you see the video, you hear the director going, "Did he just say what the?" And they're going, "Yes, he did. He said what the? He said what the?" So I mean, yeah, it's what? So many people have seen this video, and every 99.9% say I would have done worse.
Probably.
And everyone says it made them laugh. I've heard some of the most sensitive stories, people about my son was sitting on a couch after his marriage of 10 years ended. We couldn't get him to stop. He was so depressed. And we come downstairs, we hear him laughing, and he's on the floor, and he's watching your video, and he pees on himself.
And the thing is, they ran it 4 times,
Oh.
and they ran the last one in slow motion.
Oh, yeah, they do love to run it. They love to run it to heck.
There is not a human in the US of A that's over 3 years old that hadn't seen that. But it was wonderful. Gave you some, we could use the word notoriety.
Yeah, it gave me notoriety. I was so concerned, first of all, about dropping an F-bomb on TV. If it had been today, I probably would have been fined and all that. But I think people just saw it as something funny that happened on live television. And you know what also it helped? I think it made people, sometimes anchors sit up there and are somewhat pompous figures pontificating on the news. And it was like, this guy did the same thing I would have done. He's human being, and he's laughing about it still. I mean, and I guess that's the good thing. They say, hey, he's all right.
Yeah, that's what I think. You're an overcomer.
I gotta make the best of the situation.
You actually become what your daddy wanted you to be,
Mhm.
but you really are. You're more than an educator. You can have 60, 120, whatever kids in a class, but you've got thousands and thousands of people you're educating in a lot of different ways. So
Well-
you're still an educator.
Well, Dr. Bonnie, again, my father's never happy because when I was teaching at that local college, he sat in on my class.
Oh, really?
And he said, man, you're tremendous. I can see the entertainer as a teacher.
And you need that.
Yes, because, as I tell my students, I go, if there were a teacher who would talk like this with a monotone, you would eventually mentally turn them off. It's the same thing with the TV. You get remote
15
control.
minutes, they're out of there.
How are we doing on time?
Okay. We have 4 more.
4 minutes. Well, I'll let you end it the way you want to end it.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? You did say that line from my father about angels in heaven can't do more than a person that tried his best. That's what he told me in high school. I found out later that he had stolen the line from George Patton.
Oh.
But then I found out George Patton had gotten it from someone else.
There's
So no new,
nothing new under the sun.
no new material, just new audiences. Yes.
That's right. New audiences and making new points.
Yes.
Because I see you as not only an encourager and a overcomer, but a person that keeps going to the next level, doing the next right thing. And that's what I think is so super about all the times I've watched you is that you always go to the next right thing.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad you're picking up on it.
Yeah.
And I hope, let me make my pitch now, okay? And I hope you folks at home, give Channel 31 a look, all right? It's a whole new thing we're doing over here. I'm also, along with the anchor, I'm the managing editor. I get to work with a lot of these young reporters, and I think you may have noticed that we have beefed up our style of reporting, and we're more aggressive. And it's now become a 3-market news race again, or a 3-station news race again.
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing is they can watch this over in Iceland, and they'll be wondering how to get this on. But I guess they can even get WayTV.
Yes, they can.
.com from Iceland too.
We have now the hottest website in town when it comes to news operations.
Yeah, I think you do have. And I really appreciate Daryl Nixon coming from EnviroSafe. He came, gave up his time. He's moving into almost a 4-acre, got 17 stalls for horses for his business. He not the horse stalls for his business. He has a separate building for that. Pool. His wife is 2 PhDs, and he takes the time out because it's you.
Maybe next segment you should have him up here and you interview him.
And
Thank you, Daryl.
Beautiful home, beautiful. His wife also has a tutoring business, and she's now set up her. I think she's tutoring this afternoon. So if they're not moving, but if she can tutor instead of move, I know women would rather do that. And I'm just delighted that you took the time, and that Channel 31 would allow us to be out here in the studio.
Yeah.
Saved you finding each other somewhere in this metropolis of Huntsville, Madison, Alabama.
All right. Dr. Bonnie, thank you for having me.
Yes, and thank you very much. And we hope you would like to have a copy of this CD, and it's very possible for you to do that. Just call our toll-free number, 1-877-823-6886. That's probably running the bottom of the screen, and you may have that. We'd be happy to send that DVD out to you. Just have another laugh, and then you can look up all the websites where you can find it. So I'm delighted you joined us. I'm Bonnie Liphart. Bless your heart for watching.